Cazzolato. Pete Cazzolato. Dan Rickard. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is for you, wherever you are in this great big world. Maybe you're watching from the land down under too. 10 p.m. Eastern time right here, right now, 12 p.m. UTC General Mountain Time in Australia. That's right. Why am I talking about Australia, TPV Nation? Yes, creeps, freaks, and weirdos. We are live today talking with a couple of awesome gentlemen from Australia. But before we get to that, of course, I got to tell you who I am. I, of course, am Michael John of Michael John Paranormal Ghost Stories. And, of course, to that side of me, yeah. Oh, God, I never get that right with the camera. The man of the hour, the man of the power. He's too sweet to be sour, fans. Of course, his name is Dale. High Spirits Quigley. Together, we are the voice of the paranormal, the voice for the paranormal. We are Windsor, Ontario's own, the Paranormal Voice. And I first and foremost want to say thank you to all the creeps, the freaks, and weirdos known as the TPV Nation, because without you, we can't do what we do. We don't get to be who we get to be. And that is the Paranormal Voice, Windsor, Ontario's own. And oh my God, it's lighting up already with comments and people watching. I'm so excited. There's so much going on right here, right now, live. 10 p.m. Eastern time in Windsor, Ontario, right across from Detroit, Michigan, of course, the border town. Dale, what's going on, brother? How are you?
Hey, I'm good, Michael John. It's good to see you, brother, as always. And like I said, I have been so excited waiting for this show right here. These two guys that we're going to bring out here, I've been following them for a little while on the YouTube.
Oh,
I mean, they're like I said, I love what they do. They're very good at what they do.
Passionate.
And about most of all, Australia, one of my favorite places in the world, and a place that I have to go. But other than that, I mean, coming up, Michael John, I just want to tell everybody we are going to be live at the Maya Paracon coming up August 24th, 25th, and 26th, I believe. The dates are eluding me right now. But guys, if you've not been to the 3 days, and we're going to be there live all 3 days. So people, if you're not have your tickets already, make sure you go down, get your tickets. Join us at the Maya Paracon, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, one of our favorite places, as Michael John has coined this place, the WrestleMania Paracons. That's right.
The WrestleMania Paracons. That's right. The My Paracon. Tim Ellis, Brad Blair. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm forgetting names. I apologize. Brad Blair and Tim Ellis. You want to talk about ambassadors to the world of the paranormal? The guys that started all for us, gave us an opportunity. That was our stomping grounds. That was the first place we had a chance to cut our teeth, if you will, and we get a chance to do it again. 1 year around the sun, if you will. But enough about that. We will talk about it again soon. That's for sure. I want to get a quick comment. Let's bring out our guests. They are known together. They are Dan Rickard and Pete Cazzolato from Australia, from the underground. They are the Night Watchers Paranormal Duo. They have, oh my God, they're all over Facebook. They're all over YouTube. I've joined a few of their episodes. I don't even know, but they have no idea. But I've got on, I've asked them questions once or twice back in the past. Yes, I'm a fanboy. Absolutely. I didn't admit it at backstage, but I'm telling you, yes, this is awesome. So thank you both so much. Dan and Pete, thank you both so much for being here. And the TPV Nation thanks you. Welcome to the Paranormal Voice.
Thanks guys. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Just before we get into the question random, we're just going to acknowledge some of the people that are here. We have Sherry Scott with us. Sherry, thank you for joining us. Christy Natus, thank you so much.
Well, Christy.
We will be seeing Christy on the 23rd of this month. She's got an event happening right here in Windsor, Ontario, the Holistic Healing Fair. So people, if you're in the Windsor area, come on down. Gino Marcus Center right here in Windsor, Ontario. So check that out.
Windsor
July
proud,
26th.
baby.
Windsor proud. So Dan, Pete, once again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So we're going to kick this off just like we want to know, like, what drew you guys into the paranormal?
Yes.
Oh, wow. You want to start this off, Dan?
Okay, yeah, basically. Well, Pete and I have been friends, and we're best friends, but we've been mates for about 28 years, nearly 30 years. And we just basically found that we were sort of not drifting, but we didn't really do much as mates. You know, we both had our own families and things going on. So came up with the idea of starting a YouTube channel just as something to do. So we started out doing the funny videos and weird challenges and eating different foods from around the world, and we just wasn't really scratching the itch. You know, we both had a passion for the paranormal, but took a little bit before we clicked and went, hang on, why don't we do that? So we got into that, and we wanted to do it differently. We both watched stuff on YouTube and other people doing videos, and it's the same thing. You go, oh, it seems a bit far-fetched, or can I believe that? And then you start hearing things about people being fake and all the rest of it. So then you stop watching these channels. And Pete and I said, well, let's be one of the real guys. Let's go out and see if this stuff is there, what we can actually capture and show the world the real stuff. So that's how we pretty much got it started. Pete, you can take it from here, mate.
Yeah, I think because I had experiences when I was younger, also in my life, I've had paranormal experiences which were pretty full on, and I know Dan's family has experienced paranormal activity through the years. For both of us, I think it was something that we were both very passionate about. It was something that, for me personally, I know I wanted the answer. I wanted to know why I saw certain things, why certain things happened to me through my life, and I thought, when he came to me with this idea of doing a YouTube channel together, I remember the day, a couple of years back, he goes, hey, Pete, come over for a cup of coffee. I'm like, yeah, no worries, mate. I'm on my way. So we get there, sitting out in the back, having a cup of coffee, just having a chat. And he goes, oh, what do you think about starting a YouTube channel? And I said, yeah, might as well. Let's give it a crack. And from there, this is where we are today. It's nearly 30 years of a friendship that we've gone through our ups and downs and experienced a lot of things together, which has been absolutely amazing. And the one thing I have found, it's strengthened our friendship through the years. And it's something that we're both very, very passionate about. I think the one thing that really made me think, something has to change within this paranormal community is that there's a group down here in Australia, and I saw on Facebook, and I saw a comment where a lady said, oh, my husband passed away in the last few days, and I saw this orb. Could that be him? And within this group, I saw these people attack her, calling her stupid and calling her names, and I thought it was absolutely disgusting. And when Dan and I sat down and spoke about it, we decided to make our own group, not Watchers Paranormal Australia group. And we made it clear to everyone that joins our group, that watches our videos and supports us, that we don't tolerate people that belittle each other over the paranormal, bully people. We wanted a place where it was safe, where people could ask their questions, have opinions, and not be judged for that. And I think now that the paranormal world is starting to become more predominant, that it's very important that we have places like this, and that we are truthful with what we do, because there's going to be people out there, and I've experienced it myself personally, where they will attack you and say, oh, you're fake, you guys are full of crap, you don't know what you're on about. But with Dan and I, that we know we're truthful about what we do, it doesn't matter what people say, as long as we provide these safe places and provide these videos where people can go, wow, I've experienced that, and talk to us about it. We get on in a group and we talk to our members. We're not these people that don't interact with our fans, our supporters, our followers. It's important to interact with them. I find it's something important.
Definitely.
Well, hearing that, that tells me right away, and from what I've had an opportunity to see with your videos, you guys are the real deal, I want to say in a couple levels. You guys, you're passionate, but you have that, you're charismatic, which I want to watch you guys. I want to listen to you guys. You guys know what you're talking about. Like I said, you're the real deal, and that comes through. That's what I mean by passion. Dale and myself, we've known each other since 5th grade, and not unlike yourselves, we've had a lot of parallels, a lot of ups and downs, man. But this paranormal thing, oh my God, it's made us closer than ever in the last little while. And so it's an amazing thing to hear more people, you know, it's a parallel, and I love it. It's great to hear. Now, going back, I mean, Gail and I, we've had our own experiences over the years too, and that's why we got into this. Of course, you know, you get that rush. It's a sickness. It's an addiction. You can't. It's like the bad car crash. You can't look away. The paranormal, you can't stop doing it. Whether it's an EVP, whether it's an orb in a photo, whatever. And you know what? Screw all those people that want to talk bad about it, because they don't get it. They have nothing in their life, and that's how I see that. I'm not going to sit here and put down people, but just the same. You know what? That's where they're at, and too bad. But creeps, freaks, weirdos, that's what we promote here with the Paranormal Voice. And that is not unlike Night Watchers Australia. Sorry, I'm messing up your name here. Oh my God.
That's right.
I'm sorry, Night Watchers Australia. It's a place, it's a platform, it's a haven where you can talk about it safely, and no one's judging you. No one's looking down their glasses at you. Everybody's going, oh my God, there go I. Oh my God, that's crazy. I love it. Tell me more. And that's what it's about. So now, you mentioned, Pete, you know, you've had some experiences, you know, going back when you were younger. I mean, if you could both, we love to ask our guests, of course. And each one of you take a turn. We'll start with Pete. What is the creepiest, freakiest experience you've ever had that you could share with us?
Okay, well, prior to working with Dan doing this, because we've had some amazing experiences with Night Watchers, it's been insane. But personally, and the main reason why I'm so passionate about this is that I have had two experiences in my life prior to Night Watchers Paranormal Australia. Now, the first one was when I was, I think I was about 12 years old. And we were living in a place near Brisbane City in Queensland. And it was an old two-story old Queenslander. What I mean by that, it's a timber home with a balcony right the way around the house. Now, I remember going to bed. I was only 12 years old, shared a bedroom with my brother, my younger brother. Now, I remember saying goodnight to Mum and then going into my bedroom. I just had a shower, said goodbye, good night to Mum, and jumped into bed. And I was about to turn off the light, switched it off, jumped into bed, and I felt these set of hands come up from underneath my bed and pin me to the bed. Now, I didn't sleep a wink the whole night. Couldn't scream, couldn't move, couldn't do anything. Not one wink of sleep. And this thing pinned me down for the whole night. The next morning, I watched the sun come up and the hands decided to disappear. So I got up screaming out of the room. Mum came racing in. She looked under the bed and no one was there. So that was the first creepy experience, and I didn't understand why it was happening to me. But I found out from my mother later on that she used to see people walking around this place and heard people walking up and down in our hallway. So I caught that. That was my first experience. My second experience was quite a few years later. I think it was about 10 years ago now. No, longer than that. Wow. Nearly 18 years ago, because my son's 18 now. With my partner at the time, when she was in hospital giving birth to my son, I'd been up to the hospital and he was born, all excited, proud, happy. Come home to have a shower and jump into bed. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning because I had to go to work the next day. I had a shower, and like there was a couple of things that proceeded up to this point, the main event that happened. Now, I jumped in the shower, come out of the shower, just had a towel around me, went to put on some boxer shorts to jump into bed, and I jumped into bed, and all of a sudden, all the lights were flicking on and off, cupboard doors opening and closing, people running up and down my balcony, front and back. Now, the problem is that I had a 6-foot fence and a guard dog. So that wasn't possible that anyone would be in my backyard. The sensor lights weren't going off. And this proceeded to happen for a few minutes, and I screamed at the top of my lungs, stop, and everything went pitch black. Now, in my boxer shorts, I went into my car and slept in my car for the night. Couldn't go back into the house. And within a week, I'd moved my family out and
Oh, wow.
Started living elsewhere. But now on the flip side of that, paranormal-wise, with my partner that I'm with now, the lovely Angela Arcadi from Spirit Crew, we have many attachments, as I know Dan does as well. But in my house here now, I have lots of little things happening. I've seen shadow figures, a whole lot. So I think one thing I find is if you open your mind up to the paranormal, you're going to see so much more. But they're my experiences. I can talk more later on about the whole night watchers experience with Dan and what we've experienced together. But I'll let him fill you in with his experiences.
Yeah. Also, don't forget about the wallet too. Your wallet went missing as well with your license. Yeah, but that was another experience. But with me, basically, it didn't happen to me directly. I haven't actually had, prior to Night Watchers, I'd never really had any paranormal experiences as such to myself. But my family, when I was younger, I was still alive. I was only about 3 or 4 at the time, I think. And where we were living in one of those old. Anyone in Australia here would know, one of those old fibro homes. You know, the old ones back in Sydney. Anyway. It was that cold. The lounge room was that cold that Dad actually kept his beer in the lounge room rather than the fridge. That's how cold it was. So to give you an example, right? So my brother's 9 years older than me now. He came home from school one day, and he let himself in. He was the only one home, and he all of a sudden saw this lady walk from one bedroom across to the other, and didn't know who she was. And but the problem is, she didn't actually walk. She just glided, whatever the word is, across the floor. And so he freaked out and ran straight into the bathroom, locked the door, and cried his eyes out till Mum got home. When she got home, he told her the story, and she said, "Okay, you've seen her, righto." She'd already seen her as well. And one night when she did see her, after a few times, she woke up and she's seen her at the end of the bed at the door where the bedroom door is, and she's woken me Dad up, and he's just looked, and he's gone, "Go back to sleep, Roz." And he just he put the doona on, and he just like pretended it wasn't there. Yeah, he freaked out. But my auntie ended up moving into the house years later, and because it was a family home, and Mum sort of rented it out to her. Anyway, long story short, none of us told her about this. Well, she saw it too, and she freaked out and rung Mum and said, "There's a ghost in the house." And Mum's going, "Yeah, about that." Yeah, and yeah. So that was the experience that happened on my family, not me directly. But I've always been intrigued, always been curious. So that's why we got into this, and we've seen enough things to make your head spin. So we don't always show. Our videos aren't jam-packed full of doors slamming and things falling over and stuff like that, because in reality that doesn't always happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it doesn't always happen. So so that's it.
I wish ghosts would work on demand, because our videos would be so much better if they did. Just a few more people have jumped in here. We got Amy Maroon, Douglas Swicks, my brother Doug, Stacy Bellamy, and we have a gentleman. I'm probably going to butcher his name, Jeff Liditis.
Jeff, that's one of our boys. Hey, Jeff, how you going, brother?
I'm sorry, Jeff, for butchering your name. I am so bad at names. But he says, Dan the man, the myth, and the legend.
There you go.
So there you go.
The story with Jeff, he runs a channel called Crossroads Paranormal, and I give him a lot of advice on how to run the channel, all the ins and outs of YouTube. So he calls me the godfather of YouTube. So that's our little joke. So
that's a great moniker.
That's always great. No, so yeah, like I said, you guys, your videos are actually, I love watching them. The stuff you guys get, the EVPs you guys get are mind blowing. I believe it's the one. It's called Buried at Home. The demonic. I've never seen somebody jump as high as Pete did. When he was, I believe he was doing the SD method. Was that what he was doing?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, SD method. Yeah.
All of a sudden, I was like watching the video, and all of a sudden Pete just popped up, and he was like, "Stop!" I was like, "Whoa, what went in his ears?" So, Pete, could you please elaborate on that piece of that video, because I've never seen a reaction like that probably since Michael John running out of the what's that, the derelict chapel.
Yeah.
But that's a
I
story Michael
remember
John will
that.
tell you about. Yeah, no, Pete, like I said, that was one of my favorite videos you guys did. But that moment, Pete, you gotta elaborate on what it was that happened.
Goosebumps already. I can remember that as like it was yesterday. Every single, wow. I've done hundreds of sensory depths now throughout the years. And that one always, because I remember it was out in the middle, it was out in the middle on the way to Gympie.
It was out of Utilo.
Anyone who knows the Sunshine Coast, where we went, it was out, and there's not many people in this area. It was like a bit of a rural part of the Sunshine Coast. Now, I remember going to that gentleman's place, and he said, "Oh yeah, we've got people buried on the property." Now, this gentleman is a cemetery worker, goes and buries bodies and digs up the plots and everything, so he knows a lot about the history of the land. Now, when I was uneasy walking into that place to begin with, and so was Dan, and it was rather an interesting location. But they said, yeah, there's a child and a couple of different graves down the back of our property here. We don't know exactly where they are, but they're in this general vicinity. So I'm like, all right, let's go. So all puffed up with pride and ready to go. I'm like, yeah, come on, let's get this going. I'm all excited about it. I sat down and I felt uneasy to begin with. I'm like, ooh, hang on, this doesn't feel good. I started the sensory depth, and we're getting a lot of just niggles, or little nibbles and little bites of intelligent interaction, until Dan and the way he is when we do these sensory depth sessions, decided to push a little bit. And boy, did I get that answer. It sounded evil. Like the voice that came through sounded pure evil. It scared the living crap out of me. I wasn't ready for it, to be honest with you. But when that EVP came through, I just had to get out of it. I had to stop the whole session because it felt like a bolt right through me. It just did not feel right at all. It was, it wasn't good, that one.
Basically when we did that though, the only reason why I pushed it a little bit, and that's one thing that we don't do, we don't antagonize, we don't talk down. We've always loved peace and respect all the way through. But at that time, I knew that something was trying to come through, and it was like it was toying with us. And I just got pretty forward with it. I said, look, I know you can do it. And that's when I said, look, whatever it was, I said something like, stop mucking around. I know you can do this, and then bang, it just came out and went, stop, in that deep, demonic sort of voice, and Pete, and that's when Pete jumped and I ran in. But another good one is the tax agent place that we did. That was in season, I think that's season 5, the current season, I think, or it might be at the end of 4. But anyway, he gets touched a lot, and he jumped big time, like to the point where I ran in. Yeah, he's always getting touched. Yeah, big time. Yeah.
So now, where we're at here in Windsor, Ontario, which is Canada, we're a border town. It's what it's called. We're right across from Detroit, Michigan. I don't know if you're familiar with that area, but so now another state next to Michigan is Ohio. And I'm wearing a T-shirt that says, I'm going to say, "Welcome to Dogman Country," which I wear proud. I'm a huge Dogman freak, and that's a whole other chapter, probably a whole book we could talk about for my love for it. But Bigfoot as well. I love my cryptids. So landing the plane on where I'm going with this, what kind of cryptids do you guys have in Australia? Do you have a Dogman or a Bigfoot or something we've never heard of? I mean, please share. And have you or anybody you know had experiences on top of that with a cryptid?
Pete?
You can go for this one, Dan.
Well, basically, look, we've got we've got the Bigfoot. The other name for him here is what's it called? Yowie.
Yowie,
Yowie or Yeti. Well, yeah. Sorry, and so many different names for him. But look, we've got that here. But we it's something that we've always been intrigued about, but we've never actually taken the opportunity to go out and investigate or look for those sort of things, and even aliens. Like I'm a massive alien freak. Like I love anything to do with aliens and things like that. But it's just things that we don't really touch on. It's not because we don't want to. It's just the fact is that we've never really done it. So but regarding the cryptids and things like that, that's more Pete's. That's why I threw it to him, because that's more Pete's thing. Pete's right into the cryptid side of things, and so I'll let you take over from there, Pete. But I do believe there's something out there, and I do believe that it's either it's hiding or who knows. I haven't really researched it as much as what he has. So you take it, Pete.
Look, I guess from Yowies, or your equivalent to Bigfoot, there've been a lot of experiences here within Australia, all over the country, with people seeing, experiencing. Like I know there's one place on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland there that you drive about, I think it's about an hour inland, and there's a couple of properties up there that people really have a lot of interaction with Yowies. We did an investigation on the Sunshine Coast at Cazzolato tunnels. Now it's out at Landsborough, it's in the middle of nowhere, but we've went out because it's a 5K walk in, 5K walk back into the bush.
Wow. That's enough.
And it's a bit of a hike to get into the investigations out there. But when we got there, we started doing the investigation because we do believe a lot in stone tape theory. Basically, residual energy trapped in brick, rock, stone, concrete, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But as we were doing that investigation, we had a couple of rocks being thrown at us. And with this location in the middle of nowhere, there's no way that someone could get past us to be behind us to throw rocks at us. So, and I know they've had a lot of experience out there. People have reported Yowie sightings out there and stuff there. So that, I guess, is about the biggest thing with us here in Australia, because we don't have Dogman, we don't have skinwalkers or stuff like that, because I know skinwalkers are primary in the United States. Personally, I'd love to get over to Skinwalker Ranch and have a look at that location and see what goes here. But I love cryptids. Anything to do with cryptids, UFOs, that stuff. I love doing that. And maybe down the track further on, once we really develop our channel, we will go into that side of things. But I think for us, because the paranormal umbrella is so big, with everything, and that all comes under it, we've really focused on entities like demonic entities, ghosts, poltergeists, all that type of thing. Really want to focus on that, get that up to where we want it, with the channel and having the channel develop. Then down the track, when we're really comfortable, because with being paranormal investigators, we're always learning. Anyone that tells you that they're a professional in this field, they don't know what they're talking about. And I'm afraid to say that a lot of people do that and take advantage of people, and I think it's so wrong. But for us, we're still developing our skills as paranormal investigators,
I believe that you're oh, sorry, mate, I thought you were done. Keep going.
No, you're all right.
No, I was just going to say that I believe that, there's, with that whole thing of what he just said about no one's a professional. Obviously, more people are, there's people that are more experienced than others, and they've had more experiences. But I believe, like I've said a lot of times, unless they've died, gone to the other side and studied it, and then come back and teach us the ways, you're not a professional, because it's a pseudoscience. No one really knows what is going on, and we're all just working as a team. Everybody around the world who is interested in the paranormal, whether it be ghosts, aliens, whatever, Dogman, Bigfoot. We're all trying to find evidence to be able to show the rest of the world that, yes, they do exist. Tick, like another one off the list. We've proven it. We've seen it, Right. And look, anybody that does paranormal investigating regarding spirits and stuff, we've all seen and heard things that have, that you go, okay, there's something there. Like, we're not going crazy. There's 3 of us in the room. We've all heard and seen that. Like, and the equipment that we've got shows it as well. So we know that there is something there, but it's still trying to get that perfect piece of evidence that can just show people, see, it does exist. It is there,
No, Dan, Pete, I cannot agree with you more. The whole paranormal umbrella, who's better than anybody else? You know what? We are all in it for the same common goal.
Yes.
We got a really good friend of ours, Sarah V, who runs a paranormal show, Paranormally Blonde, is also part of a team called Get Haunted. They're out there promoting, working together is a lot better than working separately, because we get a lot farther in this world if we're together than we are individually. And I do believe this, and this is why me and Michael John love doing what we're doing, talking to great, passionate people like you guys and all of our amazing guests that we've been blessed with over this past year since we've started doing this. You know what? Yeah, work together. Like, nobody is better than anybody else. You know what? You have your experiences, which is great, which will show me something different than what maybe I haven't done. You know what? And this is how we are together going to be able to come up with some very interesting evidence. Like, my thing is going investigating where many teams have been, and then putting my evidence out there and seeing who has similar experiences. Because I don't know you, Dan. I don't know you, Pete, besides today. But hey, if we go to the same location at separate times and we have the same thing, how can you explain that, right?
Exactly right.
Right. I think it was you, Dan. There was a video that was released. It was the woman in white video.
Okay,
Video on the dashboard cam.
Yeah.
Your retraction statement after that really struck me. Like, it made a lot of sense what you said in that. People are quick to try to disprove everything that's out there, which, you know what, we put our stuff out there. I allow people to say, if you can prove me wrong, hey, you know what, I will say yes, okay, that is truly right. But at the same time, it's like, unless you were there and then how can you disprove something? But Dan, what you said in that video afterwards, I mean, it meant a lot and made a lot of sense as well.
Yeah, thanks. I really appreciate that, because with that video, it was sent in to us, so it wasn't something that we captured. Now, for people that don't know, this video was of a dash cam footage of a lady and her mother driving, and they saw this lady on the side of the road dressed in this white dress, and they thought nothing of it. The driver, actually, you hear her say in the real footage, without because I took the audio out just to make that that little clip up, because it was just them talking about private stuff that I didn't really want to show the world, because it was a private conversation between the two of them. But as they went past the lady, the mother goes, "What's that lady doing?" Anyway, and they kept going. As they got up the road, now this is what because at first I thought, oh, this could be some lady standing on the side of the road. Nothing. It wasn't for the fact is that when she told me that when she got up the road, the driver behind her caught up to her, and I think it was at the lights or they stopped at the shops. I can't remember, but she said she caught up to her up the road, and the one that was behind her said, "Did you see that lady there?" And she went, "Yeah, I did see that lady standing there." She goes, "Well, I'm good. I'm glad, because I just saw her disappear from before my very eyes." And that's what made me go, okay, right. That's when she had my attention. Now, another piece that had my attention was I had one of our she's actually one of our moderators. She reached out to us and she said, "Look, I'm an experienced seamstress, and that dress is from the 1800s era."
Oh,
right?
Wow.
So bang. So more, okay, one, they got to say a lady that saw her disappear. So she saw her, the lady in front saw her with the dash cam footage, and then the 1800s era sort of dress. Now, I put, so I did a bit of research, and we've got a historian, Amanda. Amanda Playford, she helped us do a bit of research, and we ended up finding a little bit of information that right on that bend where she was seen, a lady apparently passed away giving birth to a child. And so there's a bit of history right on that bend in that area. There's there used to be I think it was the very first settler, the white man settler in that area, in that area. His house and estate was right there on the side, and she was related to that somehow. I don't know too much of the information, and I'm trying not to say too much because I don't want people to go, oh, that's wrong or whatever. But so that's what got my mind up about that. Then when people started saying, oh, she casts a shadow, now that is perfectly understandable for people to say that because they don't know. And I've actually educated a lot of people by saying this, is that you picture clouds, okay? Clouds, you can put your hand right through one, but they cast a shadow. If you're up in the sky and you look down, you can see the shadow of the clouds. Right,
Absolutely.
but you can physically put your hand through one,
right?
So you don't have to be a solid, as in like a solid to block out the light. So, so therefore, when they said she's casting a shadow, because I already knew these things, so I didn't even worry about the shadow thing. Because if she's really a spirit, she's fully manifested, right? She's there. So therefore, she's blocking out the light. So I didn't even think of that. What made me think was, one, the era of the clothing. Who in their right mind these days is going to stand out? I think that might have been like, that obviously was middle of the day, standing out in the middle of nowhere. Like, there are houses there, but she's away from the houses, way out the front, standing on the side of the road, looking away from the traffic, just standing there. Like, unless you're some sort of unless you've got a reason to be standing there, for one, or two is that you're mentally not healthy. You know what I mean? Something going on. Then there's no reason for you to be standing there like that. It just seemed really weird, So one, we're not saying 100% that is a spirit, but we are saying that, yes, I did use the title, Ghost Lady, caught on dash cam, because what else do you put? Weirdo lady standing on the side of the road. I mean, what do you put? So I put, Ghost Lady standing, Ghost Lady caught on dash cam, because after all the things that I got pointed out to me, I went, well, that's 90%. Yeah, to me, that's a 90% chance it's a ghost. So enough evidence for me to say, okay, I'll put Ghost Lady in the title. But I am going to be going to do an investigation in that spot, in that area, and I'm going to be having night cameras set up, night vision cameras set up. I'm going to be trying to make contact. If we get something, great. If we don't, it's still going up, because like everybody knows, if we get nothing, it still goes up, because people need to know that you could spend hours at a location and get nothing, and that's just how the cookie crumbles, basically.
Oh, I compare it to fishing. I compare ghost hunting to fishing, or any of it. You can be there for hours, you don't get a bite, man. And other days, it doesn't stop.
Exactly.
And people don't believe it. It's like, and when I forget who mentioned it, but maybe I think it was Pete earlier. Here in my residence where I'm at, it's just a 1-bedroom apartment, and Dale knows all too well. I've called him many times. Oh my God, I heard my name. Somebody called my name. Like, it doesn't freak me out. I'm in a sick, like I say, in a sick way, but I'm almost used to it. Now, I mean, I've done, I've dabbled. When I say dabble, like I'll read books on how to conjure or invoke, and I make it my own. I don't believe in protection, none of that stuff. I really don't. It doesn't make me. I'm not being a big shot here. I just don't. I just kind of like use a Ouija board. It's a tool to me, and that's how it should be. There's nothing scary about it, in my opinion. Yeah, that's what's nice about paranormal. We can all have our own opinion and talk about it.
That's a funny thing about the Ouija board. You have a look at it. Hasbro, the toy company, developed the name Ouija board. It's actually a spirit board, and that's a funny thing. A lot of people go, "Oh, why do you use a Ouija board? Why?" It's a tool to me, like you, Michael. It's a tool, and the funny thing is that, have a look at the equipment we use today. Ouija board or a spirit board, we use spirit boxes. It's the same thing, except the technology is more advanced today.
Absolutely. So one thing I got to ask you guys, and I don't know if we touched on this. Now, do you guys have any gifts yourselves? Are you
good question?
Like a medium, psychics, empathic? Do you guys have any type of gifts, or is it just everything you do is just you go in there with your human feeling?
Okay, I'll go first quick, because I know mine's quicker than Pete's, because Pete has got something he can tell you about that. Now, I don't claim to have a gift. I don't, by all means. But when I was younger, when I was about 3 or 4 years old, my mother had me tested How they test for it, I don't know. But anyway, apparently I have ESP now, or had it. I don't know. But what happened was we went to visit my great-grandmother in the nursing home, and we just got back in the door. So we'd only left there about 10 minutes ago. It was only up the road from our place at the time. As we got in the door, I said to my mum and to my grandmother, because it was my mum, my grandmother, the three of us went to visit my great-grandmother. Right? Now, she was perfectly fine sitting in her chair when we were there with her little blanket over her, and she was all talking and everything was good. By the time we got in the door, I said to my mum, I can't recall what I called her, grandma or whatever it was. I think I called her grandma. But anyway, I said, oh, grandma's dead. Oh, sorry, grandma's gone. Sorry. Yeah. And mum goes, what do you mean, grandma? Like, what do you mean grandma's gone? Yeah, we're home now. And he goes, no, grandma's gone to heaven. Right? And lo and behold, 20 seconds, 30 seconds later, they get a phone call. At the time I said it, not at the time I said it, but obviously she just passed just before I'd said it. So that was only a couple of minutes. By the time they check a pulse, yeah, she's gone. Bang, they rung mum. Yep, she's just gone, you know. And it was right at around that time that I had said, grandma's gone to heaven. So, wow. So mum thought that was a bit trippy. So she went and had me, checked and whatever. I don't know what she had done, but they checked me, or I think she took me to some sort of medium or something. I don't know. And these people said, yeah, he's got ESP. That's it. So you Pete. That's it for me.
I mean, that's interesting in itself, just to have that pick up like that. But yeah, no. So sorry, Pete. Go ahead.
No, you're all good. Well, I don't claim to have any gifts. I think with me, there's experiences that I've had that I don't know if it's something that I can develop. And maybe I'll look into that later on. But when I do, like when I first got together with my partner, she lived down here where I am now in South Australia, and I was in Queensland. Now, I remember getting a splitting headache. This one day, just got a splitting headache, and I had to lie down and close my eyes, and I saw, I don't know whether it was a premonition, a vision, or whatever it was. And this has only happened once or twice. And then I said to her, I rang her and I said, are you going out on an investigation tonight? And she goes, yeah, as a matter of fact, we're on the way. I said, well, basically you're going to this place. It's told her and she never told me, told her the location, told her what was going to happen on that investigation. And I said, be careful. And everything I said to her, she had, I was watching the live that she was on. And the thing I said, there was going to be someone come up to her. I described exactly what he was wearing. This is prior to it happening. And I said, he's not paranormal. Be careful, because he's going to come out of nowhere. He's going to surprise you. And lo and behold, she was doing a live. And this guy popped out from around the corner on an abandoned location. I even described the whole location itself. He popped around the corner. He was wearing everything I said he was wearing. And she goes, oh, hi, because he jumped out. Hi, how are you? And she goes, oh, hi, and was startled a little bit. She had her team members there with her, but they were off in another section. And she goes, oh, what are you doing here? And he said, yeah, we're here filming a documentary, look at scouting locations for a history documentary. So everything I told her happened, right down to the boots he was wearing.
Oh my God!
Hat, shirt, pants. Yeah. That's happened once. Now, the second thing that happened, and I don't know if these are gifts I can develop. I don't know. We had, again, my partner up when I was living back in Queensland. We did a 3-part investigation with her paranormal group, and it was Dan and I for Night Watchers, and we did a combined 3-part series. Now, we went to a location called the Majestic Theatre up on the Sunshine Coast. Now, it's one of 3 silent movies still left in existence in the world. It's over 150 years old. It is, or was it 200 years? I can't remember.
No, it's 100 years old. Just over
100 years old. Sorry, my bad. And this location is beautiful. We've done many videos there, had many experiences, but we were upstairs doing a sensory deprivation session. Now, with this session, I started getting sick, physically ill. while I was doing the session. Then I had a whole heap of really gruesome images popped into my head. Like I'm talking just
Gory.
really murder type images. And then I had to stop the session because I was feeling ill. But the problem was that I was actually feeling heat, body heat, get close to me. And I was the only one in the room that we were in doing the session, but I could feel the heat and judge the distance of how far that body heat was away from me in a sensory deprivation session. Now, you boys know how that works. You're blindfolded and you can't hear a damn thing. So I actually had to go out and ground myself because I felt so ill and upset that it was crazy. But I think with me, and I think with you guys too, that the more you do paranormal investigating, the more you delve into the paranormal world, you start to develop your own personal little things. Like your intuition goes crazy. Feeling. I think eventually over time, anyone can become an empath because of what you're experiencing. You're dealing with deceased people, people's loved ones that have passed. So you're getting their emotions. So you start to develop personal little gifts on your own that maybe the world won't recognize, but for you personally, you know that you do have more than just going into it as someone that's beginning in this field. So they're the things I've had happen. Now that the premonition one has never happened to me again. So I don't know if it was a one-off thing that someone was trying to show me to warn my partner, or I just don't know. It's something that maybe I'd like to look at, you know?
No, I can kind of relate. I can relate to you on the fact that having a premonition, or with me, it comes with dreams. Like I will dream about a place I've never been, see people I never know, but then within like a week or two, I will find myself in that location and the exact same people are there. And it's like, I know what's about to happen. There's going to be something that's going to come around the corner and somebody's going to get hurt. And it's like, you watch this all unfold and you're just like, well, what? You don't know if you should react because you don't want to freak people out. But at the same time, I believe these visions or these premonitions happen for a reason. And for you, Dan, or for you, Pete, sorry, it was probably to protect your partner because, like you said, this guy came out of nowhere. You know, you don't know, especially when you're into an abandoned place, you don't know what kind of people are hanging out in there.
Exactly right. And I believe too that point you just made regarding you have it with dreams and stuff like that. Have you ever had anybody that's watching? I think everybody has had some sort of point in their life where they go, "Oh, I just had a deja vu." You know, where you think I've been here before. Yeah. Who's to say? Because this only just popped into my brain right now. Who's to say that? Because apparently we have hundreds, if not thousands, of dreams a night when we're sleeping, but we don't remember them all. We don't. It doesn't go into our memorable conscience, right? So who's to say that when we have that deja vu moment that we haven't had that premonition dream, but we just couldn't remember it? And then when we get to that point, we're like, I've been here before. That's what it could be, you know? So I don't know too much about it, but that just came to my mind right then when you said that. And I'm like, because my mum, I just done a video a couple of weeks ago called Calling Doreen. It's my grandmother. My mum had my grandmother, which is my dad's mother, come through to her in a dream and told her about this operation that she had, a procedure that she had, and 3/4 of the family didn't even know about it. We had to dig right through back to my grandmother's sister, and she had to confirm it. And yeah, she did. She had a procedure done. She had a twisted bowel, and it was all there. So I just done a spirit box session and that in the bedroom, just to see if she'd come through. I got some intelligent responses, I believe. You know, like you listen to these things over and over and over again to try. Yep, that's what I'm hearing. That's what I think it is. It's you know, but you know, we're never, like I said before, we're never 100%. That's why whenever I put my titles up, you'll always see a little question mark at the end of it. Because that's me. That's my way of saying that's what I get. What do you hear? You know. Yeah. So nothing's ever 100% concrete. It's just like, and that sort of shows our honesty too. That's by putting that in. It's like, you know, what do you hear?
Absolutely. And you know what? Any time is a good time for a spirit box session. You know, whether you're in the bedroom, the bathroom, I don't care. You want to do it because any time is right. I'm going to touch on what you just said, Dan, about deja vu and dreams. I love that theory, and that's my safe word because I have my own theory on that. Very similar to yours, but a little different. Okay, so now I believe there's millions of versions of Michael, of Dan, of Pete, of Dale, parallel dimensions, right?
Yeah.
And when we meditate to manifest a dream, a goal, an ambition, all of a sudden at some point you'll have that deja vu moment. What I believe, my theory, is I've aligned a couple of these dimensions up to where I'm at now. Boom, there's that alignment. All of a sudden it's familiar because now I'm in two parallel dimensions of aligned and I'm going that much closer to my manifestation goal. That's my theory anyway. So I like your dream theory. I love it.
I like that. I never thought of that before because you are right, you know, and that's one thing that a lot of scientists have actually come to the conclusion on and have agreed upon is that there's an infinity amount of parallel universes. And they actually believe that when we did the, Pete enlightened me on what it was called, but where they actually split the atom under the tunnel, remember a few years back?
That's with giant collider
thing. Yeah, I forget what it was called now. They split the atom. Now there was two ways.
The God particle, where they were trying to discover the God particle.
Yeah, and there was two ways it could go: nothing or a black hole. So they went with it anyway. And anyway, so they reckon that at that point when they did that, that we've actually shifted. Have you heard of the Mandela effect?
Mandela effect.
Yes, yeah, it's where so that's where the Mandela effect is. So part of us go, oh yeah, well, Fruit Loops is FRUITLOOPS. Well, some people remember it as FROOT, LOOPS. You know, like little things, or you know, with the Ford logo, the little tail on the F. You know, that was never there, and now it's there, and little things like that, where the things are the same, but there's that little tiny bit of a difference. You know, and. You know, or even like Luke, I'm your father. You know, apparently that's not the line. I remember it as that line, but a lot of people don't. They remember it as the line it is now. So that whole thing of what you're saying with those multiple universes, parallel universes. You know, who's to say that when they split that atom or whatever it is they did in that tunnel, that it didn't actually just shift us into the next one, or partly into it, or something. You know,
and then we could go one. You know, we could just keep going and going. I mean, we could talk about the ascension that's happening, and that's very similar. There's a lot of, you know, with the Mandela effect. It describes the ascension where so many people are changing and going to 5D and just more abilities, more psychic abilities, more aware of what's around them and seeing things more and experiencing things more. You know, I don't know why I'm getting goosebumps right now. But
it's good.
But your friend Jeff there made a comment which is very interesting. Says when it comes to clairvoyancy, the closest he's had is to connection involving, I guess, you, Dan, and Maggie at Ernest Junction Tunnel. Yeah, I can't wait to hold an investigation with Pete sometime soon.
Yeah, we did I did a investigation with Jeff at the at a tunnels. What was it called again? I just forgot what it was called.
Ernest Junction.
That's it. Ernest Junction Tunnels. Yeah, it's pretty well known up here in our area, sort of the southeast Queensland. Now a lot of things have happened there. A lot of history regarding a couple of deaths there, and so I went down to check it out. We had some really interesting things happen, and that's where I met Jeff. And he actually became our New South Wales team for a little while there, but had to move on because he just couldn't balance everything, his own channel and everything, plus work for us. So that's fine. So I keep in touch with him and help him out. But yeah, that was very interesting, that investigation, definitely.
So Dan, I know I've got to ask you another question. I believe the episode was the Morgue Chapel. You were in the cold room, and your equipment was going crazy. I don't know if you heard the EVP when I know you recognized your name right off the bat, but you just kept talking like it was nothing. And I was like, man, every time I get an EVP call my name, I get goosebumps, and I can't. It takes me a while to fucking. You just kept rolling like it was like, yeah, okay, just another one calling my name.
Well,
And I love that about it.
thank you. Well, the thing is, when that happens, like at first, like anything, at first you're like, oh my god, it's my name, you know. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll be like, oh, it's me, you know. But most of the time, and people find this too. I put it down to it's just one of my attachments trying to come through, you know, because I believe that I've got attachments. I've been told I do. I think I've got a little girl that follows me around. She looks at me like a father figure.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so I just put it down to it's just one of them trying to come through because But in saying that, every time we go into an investigation, before we even start rolling the cameras, I'm always saying, hey guys, you know, we're here. This is what we're here for. I start talking and I say we're here in love, peace and respect. We wish you no harm. This equipment we've got with us is just to see that you are here. If you can touch them or talk into it or blah, blah, blah. And my name is Dan. And if I've got people with me, it's all if it's Dan and Pete, you know, so I'm Pete, I'm Dan, blah, blah, blah. And we always introduce ourselves. So I go, okay, well, if it's not one of my attachments, they obviously know my name because I've already introduced myself.
Yep.
But I don't know. And half the time I don't even hear it, to be honest with you. It's not until I go to do the editing, I'm like, there's one, there's my name. I'll put that in, Dan. You just don't realise most of the evidence that comes up in our video, I will go to an investigation and go, wow, that was quiet. And it ends up being one of our biggest videos because you go back and check it and you've got disembodied voices speaking into the microphone. Like that happened on our latest investigation at the Dickerbrand Bridge. With the one I just dropped last night. So anybody watching, if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. But we get him. Pete had him come through his name come through on his end, you know. So we're just used to it. Yeah.
It's funny, you know, especially in my house here where I live now. I've had some experience that I've got to try and get documented, try and get camera evidence on it. But I remember my partner was asleep in bed and I get up pretty early in the morning for work. I'm up at 5 a.m. each morning to go to work. And I remember coming downstairs and where I'm sitting right now, I've got a hallway that goes to the front door and I've got a guest bedroom just off the hallway here. And I heard my partner's voice calling my name. Hey, come here. Hey, come here. And I know she's in bed because I'm the only one up. So it's interesting, like with EVPs, I hear my name all the time. I know Dan does too, but when it starts getting off the EVP and you actually hear it with your own ear, because that's a funny thing. When you use a GoPro or your phone or any type of camera, sometimes it picks up audio that we can't hear with our ears. And it's really interesting when you do go over your footage that you go, holy crap, that said that, huh? There's intelligent responses that I wanted and we couldn't hear it. With
exactly.
So,
yeah. Exactly right. A perfect example of that is when we did our very first private residence investigation. And for anyone watching, I think it was back in season 2 or 3, and it's called Ghost in the Radio. Now, basically, what happened was this is when I actually, because I can't do them. I can't do the Estes method. I think I have like some sort of balance problem. It starts making me dizzy, but this is the one time I did it, and I had the name Steve come through. Like I could hear it, Steve, and I yelled out Steve, you know, and Pete's outside, and he goes, "Oh, Steve," and starts asking about this Steve, and then clear as a bell, you hear in the GoPro, in the actual camera, it goes, Steve, like that. Steve, clear as a bell. And I was like, wow. You know, so we've had plenty. I think, you know, if you out of every 10 videos, we've probably got like at least 4 or 5, half of them that have got disembodied voices coming through. And you're like, wow, you know, like the one last night, you know, I heard a rock getting thrown and you hear it dunk, you know, and then I start asking the question, was that you, or like something along the lines of who was that, you know, or whatever. And you hear a disembodied voice from a child, because there was 2 kids that had died there, plus the worker that had fallen into the pylons and got his body's still in the pylons now as we speak. He's encased in it, concrete.
Wow.
So yeah, I give the whole story on it. Yeah, it's pretty good. But I hear a little child's voice go, "Oh, that's right." I said, "Was that you that threw the rock?" And a kid's voice, clear as a bell in the camera, it says, "It was," in a child's voice, clear it was. You know, so we get them all the time, and it's. I think now anybody that's watching, because there's a lot of people out there go, how do you get so much? You know, I'll be on a location for like, or Pete and myself for like 2 hours, and we get all this stuff, and people go, how do you get so much? I'll tell you what it is. This is the secret. Go in there with love, peace, and respect in your heart, and I can guarantee you now they will feel it. Don't just say it; you need to feel it, because I believe these entities can pick up on our feelings and emotions, not just the lies that come out of our mouth. If you actually go in there with love, peace, and respect in your heart, and treat these people like people, because they used to be living people, you will get more responses, and they'll be more cooperative, I believe, than if you just went in there and right. Who's here? You know, and start getting into it. You know,
absolutely.
Work however you want to work. I'm not telling people how to work, but I'm just saying if you go in there with a bit more love in your heart and respect, they'll pick up on it, I reckon. Because that's the only thing that we can say that we do differently is that we just go in there and we have, you know, not differently. I'm not saying other people don't have respect. That's the only thing I can say that we do that gets us. There's no other reason really. Like.
Absolutely. You know what? And you know what? The spirits, the energies, however you want to decide how you want to describe the other side. Yeah, they feel our vibrations. They can feel us more than we can feel. Like they know us. The moment they walk in, they can tell like, oh, this guy's an idiot. And that guy's we'll help this guy out.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
But wow, it has been a fast hour. Dan and Pete, before I let you go, how can TPV Nation fans find you guys? Like, we want to know, where are you guys located? Where are you guys going to be? Do you guys make appearances? Could you tell us a little bit about that? So drop it all on us.
Yep, no worries.
Okay, well, first of all, we do have an email account. It's nightwatchersparanormal@gmail.com if you're in Australia or overseas where I'm going in the next 3 months. If you've got any investigations or want us to have a look at anything, let us know through that. We're also on YouTube, which is Night Watchers Paranormal Australia. We're on Facebook, Night Watchers Paranormal Australia, and we have our group, Night Watchers Paranormal Australia group. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, you name it. Just go into the Google bar, type in Night Watchers Paranormal Australia, and we should come up. Is there anything else you want to add on that, Dan, that way?
Perfect, brother. As you're saying it, I'm just listening going, yep, he's tick, 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 tick. Good. He's got them all. But yeah, for that other part of the question, yes, look, guys, we do have our new series called Crossover Series where, because Pete and I are in different states now, we've had a lot of fans reaching out going, we miss seeing you guys together. So at the moment, until I do fly down to Adelaide to see him, which I am doing in the next month, until we do that, him and I are going to film separate locations, and I'm going to edit them to be one big mega monster episode, which will be him and I. And I've sort of edited it so it sort of like flies to him, then it flies back to me. It's done a bit that way. So we're both in the same video. You get to see both of our personalities and the way we do it. But it's how I've got to do it at the moment until we can physically be in the same room. So.
Absolutely. And I think down in the description box below, I have put in all your contact information everywhere where you guys can be seen. I just want to say before Michael John jumps in here and wraps this thing up on us, Dan and Pete, it's been a great pleasure talking to you guys. I'm finally glad that I get to talk to you guys. Like I said, huge fan for a while. Love what you guys are doing. Keep up the good work. Thank you for the passion. And hey, if I ever get down to Australia, I hope we could sit down and have a drink together.
Definitely. No, we appreciate it. Yeah, no, definitely. We appreciate it. Thank you very much for even asking us. We feel honored. Thanks for asking us to be on. We appreciate it.
No, you know what? Thank you both so much. I got to say, like I said earlier, you guys are the real deal, and that comes shining through when you talk your passion. You guys bleed paranormal, and that's why, we've been blessed. We've had nothing but great guests on our show, and we've been really fortunate to be able to say this on every show. This show was no exception. You guys, if we don't have guests like yourselves, we can't do what we get to do and what we love, and that is this right here, right now. And TPV Nation, creeps, freaks, and weirdos out there that were tuning in, that are going to tune in later, thank you so much. And again, not unlike our guests, we can't do it without you. And I want to thank so much again the members of the Night Watchers Australia. Oh my God. Night Watchers Australia Paranormal. I'm butchering it again. Oh my God. Wait. Night Watchers Paranormal. I'm so sorry, guys.
That's all right.
I have glasses and I don't. I need trifocals, but then try and
That's
see
all good.
when you wear them. You know what I mean? That's the problem. But Dan Rickard, Pete Cazzolato.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah,
guys,
you got it.
Guys, thank you so much. It's been an honor and a pleasure to have you guys on here tonight. Last but not least, TPV Nation. We will see you all on the other side. But in the meantime and in between time, we're going to say at the count of 3, Dale. 1, 2, 3.
Happy hauntings.